All right, folks, let's move on to the next impairment, resonant peaking. This is kind of a continuation from the suck out. They're closely related, but resonant peaks tend to be, well, they're not tend to be, because there's a gain component. You can see there's an additive nature of this RF impairment. It's generally going to be caused by things that cause gain, meaning amplifiers and the amplifier modules within nodes and stuff like that. So somebody comments, please.
This is caused by uncontrolled feedback, and it results in an oscillation. And the good analogy is if you're in an auditorium with a PA system and get a microphone too close to the speaker, you get uncontrolled feedback, and you get this tone that is that goes round and round and round from the microphone to the speaker to the microphone to the amplifier, and for the system. And same thing's going on here. A grounding issue inside the amplifier housing somewhere is causing RF feedback, and in this case, it results in an uncontrolled oscillation. The equivalent tone shows up as a spike in the levels of the RF signals, and you've got to deal with it the same way. We want to make that amplifier an amplifier, not an oscillator.
Yeah, so then what's the impact to the end user? It's kind of like the adjacency issue where you have some signals that are too high, and next to it, you have signals that are too low. So you end up with those same end impacts to the end user. So it is something we have to go out and fix.
Yeah, and you saw in the previous example where I was out there with Dave, the meter could see that resonant peak, that peaking energy, and it just destroyed the performance of the carrier. The MERs were unusable at the magnitude of the peak. So,
and more than one peak here.
Twin peaks.
So oftentimes, and one thing that I'll say, and it goes into the subsections of 9.5 in our operational practice document, we've actually identified very distinctive resonant peaking signatures for virtually every known piece of amplifier module that's in use. Not everyone, but the major amplifier modules in use in all the systems at Comcast anyway. We've identified them, and they're very obvious to people that are used to seeing them.
Well, and there's another thing too. These can be very intermittent. If the grounding issue inside the amplifier housing is intermittent, over temperature, time, the resonant peaking can come and go. The peaks can move around, and of course that can affect different signals in the spectrum. And if it happens to roll across the AGC pilot, there too the amplifier performance can be affected.
That's right. All right, let's roll to the video and have some fun.
Okay, so what we're chasing this time is a pretty gnarly resonant peak. So when we look at this device in single device mode, we've got this super gnarly resonant peak here, about 261 megahertz. Looking at, at the history of this guy, it looks like it's been around for a while, going back at least 4 or 5 days to when it showed up. So before about the 26th, it was pretty flat. And around the 26th, it showed up, and it's been here ever since. All right, we got a live one. I was able to sneak up to this tap. This is an old Secor 900 series line extender. There was an open port on the tap. I was able to sneak up in there, and we still got this big gnarly resonant peak / suck out right there around 261. So we're gonna try and crack this amp open and see if it goes away. So let's see what happens. Try to stay connected to that screen until I open this amp. So again, I might be able to bounce this thing or to whack it and see if I can make that resonant peak go away. I really want to kind of get to the bottom of this and see what the inside of this housing looks like and what that module looks like. It's a nice, bright, beautiful sunny day here in western Pennsylvania in the fall. So it's a great day to be out chasing impairments and fixing frequency response problems. So it's pretty tight. I have to put a wrench on. It's still there. It's been hanging around. Looking at the history of this device, or these devices that have these signatures. This has been here for a little while. So may see another corrosion issue here. Maybe we'll find a loose module retainer screw or two in there. to see what we got once we get it open. It's tight. All right, still hanging around, bouncing around on this thing. It's still there. This is our guy. 700 series C-core line extender. Looks like all the module retainer screws are tight. So let's check the input. See if that guy's there on the input. I suspect it's not, but we'll find out. So there's the input of the amplifier. Refresh that. Yeah, sure enough, it's flat as a board. No, not quite flat as a board. There's a little bit of a valley right there, but certainly not the same as on the output of that amplifier in that tap. So we'll hook it to the output test point of the amplifier and just verify that that's where this resonant peak is coming from. And yeah, there it is. Bigger than life. Okay, well, we're gonna put in another tech signal interruption and try and reseat this module and see what happens. Okay, so we took this housing, the module out of the housing, checked it for corrosion, checked for signs of damage or water migration inside the housing. Everything appeared to be in pretty good order. So we went ahead and reseated the module. While I was loosening the module retainer screws in this amplifier, the frequency response of this resonant peak did start to change. So we went ahead and popped it out, checked everything out, popped it back in, retightened the module retainer screws, and then set the amplifier up. One of the customers that were fed off of this amplifier did come out and suggest that he was having a video problem on one of his set-top boxes. So hopefully us cleaning this, reseating it, and getting rid of that resonant peak was enough to take care of this customer's issue. But we'll keep an eye on it, and you know, this is one of the more common solutions to these resonant peaks is reseating the module, making sure everything's properly tightened, set up, and the housing's closed. So there you go.